Welcome to On The Bit, your weekly preview of the weekend's racing. I'm Dave from Dream Thoroughbreds, and with me is Lenny from Bluegrass Bloodstock. How are you, Lenny?
Very good, Dave.
That's good. We finished the week on a bit of a high last week for the end of the carnival. We found happy trials that got up and over $13. And Lenny gave you a formula as well, so if you got the Quinella, it was over $40, you would have been happy days. So I actually had a bit of a meeting with Paul Bashara, the trainer of Happy Trails, last weekend. A really nice bloke, so got a little photo for the photo album.
Beautiful.
This week we're coming to you from the winning owners room actually at Moonee Valley, the venue of Friday night's racing this weekend. The main race day is Saturday, and that's coming to you from Sandown, and the main feature is the Group 2 Zipping Classic over 2,400 metres. And who do you like in the Zipping Classic, Lenny?
I like Lloyd's horse, Moran.
Yep.
Thought he's been in great form this prep. He's winning the Craven Plate, was really good in Sydney. Dared a Dream Bart's horse, Frank the Form, in Melbourne. Moran then ran a really good 7th in the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah.
Last year he led in this race. He ran a great race. It was a small but select field. Mary Kane beat him and Managar only by a length.
Yeah.
I think looking at the speed map, he's probably just going to sit off Dame Claire, who will set a good tempo, which will suit him, and he should be just hitting the line. I think he's the best horse in the race. He should be just winning for mine.
Yeah, a weak edition of the Zipping Classic. Yeah, really disappointed with the acceptances, but I'm going for Moran as well. He's had a pretty light spring really. It's only his 5th run in this preparation. He was given 4 weeks off leading into the Melbourne Cup. And he actually hit the lead at the top of the straight, but because they went such a slow pace, he just didn't have the sprint to keep going. The sit and sprint stayers came and ran over the top of him, but kept fighting on, and so yeah, he ran 3rd in this race last year. Expect Huey Bowman to put his opposition to the sword a lot earlier in this race, make it a real Dow staying test over the last 400, and take the sprint away from his dangers. So he's $2.40 fixed odds. I think he's easing slightly, but I think he's on the bit and goes into all your multis on Saturday. The other feature at Sandown on Saturday is the Group 2 Sandown Guineas over 1,600 metres, a set weights race for 3-year-olds. And who do you like in the Guineas?
Tough, Dave. It's pretty open.
It is an open Guineas, yeah.
But I was looking at the Carbine Club that was run at Flemington, the form lines through that. I really like the run of Snowden's horse Tatra. He worked hard early, then got across, sat 2nd in the run, kicked clear at the top of the straight. Luna Rise joined him. Yep. They went a battle down the straight. Luna Rise got him by a head, but Tatra gets him a kilo better this time, which I think is going to really suit. He ran over 1,800, which didn't suit. Apart from that, his form's been pretty much spot on. Yeah. He's drawn a good gate. He's going to race handy, and I think he's going to be very hard to beat. I've got one at odds in the race called Just Forget It. Kane Harris's horse. It's actually got form through your horse, Chaz Moment.
Yeah.
He was really impressive at Traralgon last start. I know this is a bit of a step up, but they don't come from back at Traralgon and win the way he did. He's at $50 or $60.
That was a soft kill too, wasn't it?
It was a soft kill. He might be worth a little each way, or maybe a place bet, at the odds. You never know.
Yep. Yeah, I like Peter Snowden's record in this race. He's got a fantastic record. And the key to it for mine is that he sets his horses, he gives them a bit of a Sydney campaign, but then he freshens them up and sets them for a 2-run campaign. Carbine Club on Derby Day, 1,600, 2 weeks later into the Sandown Guineas. So yeah, I'm using the Carbine Club as a guide for this race as well, and it should provide the main chances in the race. But I'm actually going for his 2nd stringer Proverb to win it. Tatra will no doubt sit on the pace. But Proverb went back to last in the Carbine Club. He didn't get a lot of luck in the straight and ran on very well the last 100 metres to grab 3rd. He had a 5-week break leading into that race, and I think you would have brought him on a little bit in fitness. Same with Tatra. He'll need some luck again, but I think from barrier 8 he'll posse up a bit closer this time. And if he's close enough at the 200, I think he'll be very strong to the line, and I think he's a good chance here. His danger is obviously his stablemate Tatra. He's 6-1. Actually, he's into 550 fixed odds, so he's on the bit for mine. It's actually a race that you can get a bit of value. I'm actually throwing in a bit of an outside chance as well to an up-and-comer called Host of the Party. He ran on from last in an 1800 metre race on Oaks Day. The blinkers go on first time for him on Saturday, and which may just spark him up to take a forward position. He's got a lot of upside, this horse, by Host, and I think you'll see the Host breed sort of get over a bit of staying distances as they get as they start to mature. And he's probably worth following even past this race. He's $21 fixed odds and probably worth an each way ticket in that race. Stable news, Lenny. Any stable news for you this week?
Stable news, just gearing up for NZ next week, Dave, with the ready to runs. We've been going through the tapes, so just if anyone is interested in maybe getting a ready to run horse, let us know, because I've been doing all the tapes and I'll be over there inspecting the horses. But as you guys know, I've got a horse going through myself, so we're hoping we achieve the desired result.
And how do people get in touch with you, Lenny, if they're interested?
Just through my website. There's my email address there, so they can just email me, or my number's on my website as well, which
BluegrassBloodstock.com.au.
That's the one.
Yeah, we got a pretty light week for stable news. Chasing Main and Beringer ran unplaced last week on the Saturday. Very exciting for the owners to be there on Emirates Day though. They both pulled up fine. They'll both go for a spell and freshen up to come back just after Christmas. I've just noticed we've got the My Boy Charlie colt that's actually becoming a gelding this week. But there's a My Boy Charlie first up in a 2-year-old race in Sydney on the weekend for Gerald Ryan. So some of the My Boy Charlies have been up at the trials, and it'll be interesting to see how they go at the trials.
This is a trainer of juveniles, so it would be running if it didn't have ability.
Absolutely, so we'll be keeping a close eye. Value bets for the weekend, Lenny. What's your value bet for the weekend?
Well, it's race 5, number 9, Mr. Milton. Now, this horse is a non-winner, and
before?
I've tipped him before, and I'm gonna. He just keeps standing out at me. His form for a race like this is just spot on. If you take out his failure in the Rupert Clark, where in the steward's report he had respiratory problems. Apart from that, like, he's run 4th in a Memsey behind Happy Trails, and he ran 4th to whenever last start. But the thing I like about him is he gets in with 54. He's been running in weight for age races and Group 1 handicaps, and he's getting in with a real winnable weight. He is a non-winner, but at $10, I'll be having more on a place and a win on him, and I think he'll give a great side.
I must admit, I actually thought he was a chance in that race too. I thought it was a very even race. He's in on the weekend, and I think if you get good odds, double figures about him, then he's worth having an each way ticket on. I've got 2 value bets. Sandown race 3, number 10, Crafty Cruiser. Now seriously, this guy, I don't know if he wants the replay, this was the worst ride of the Flemington Carnival. He was cantering behind the leader in the Lavazza over 2800, and the leader absolutely compounded to him, and he just got dragged back in the field and went back to last. I think it was a field of 18. And by the time he got out and sort of past the leader, the bird had flown. They were often gone, and he ran on, but the gap was too much to make up. He should have beaten Verdant here 2 starts ago at Moonee Valley. He's rock hard fit. He actually gets a new jockey on. I won't label the jockey who rode him last start, but Blake Shin goes on. He's a great rider of stayers, and I think he'll make a difference this week. He's $8.50 out to $9 in fixed odds on the bid for mine each way. Crafty Cruiser in the Sandown Cup, that is. That's the 3200 metre race. And one of my better bets for the day, and one of my value bets, is race 9, number 6, Angel of Mercy. This was a huge run on Cup Day. She drew the outside barrier, went back to last on a day you couldn't make any ground coming out wide. She ran on to run 4th and was one of the only horses on the day to make up some ground out wide. She gets the blinkers on this week. Change of jockey, Craig Williams goes on board. He'll sit forward this week from barrier 2. She's won up to 1600. The race is over 1500 this week, and will be suited by the long straight of this Sandown straight. She'll be right in the finish on the bid, $7.50. Actually, she was $10 when she opened up fixed odds. They backed her straight into $7.50 very quickly. She's each way. You might get a bit better on the day, but on the bid for mine each way. There is a danger too to her. It's a horse called Benaria. Her last 2 runs have been enormous, and although she's had 5 weeks off, she's very very fit, sorry. Throw her in the Quinella and multi it up with your own selection, and I think you can get a really good result out of that last race. I'm really keen on those two in the last at Sandown. So on the bit specials, Lenny, who's your on the bit special for the weekend?
On the bit special for me is race 8, number 4, Hot Schnitzel. I laid him first up when he had the big impost. He's got the big impost again. He's got the 59, but it's a 57 minimum, so it's only 2 kilo spread. He went to Melbourne in the sprint. Huge run, 59 and a half on his back. A field of 20, and he's run 4th, beaten a length and a half. There's a horse that won that race unpretentious. He gets a 5.5 kilo turnaround in the weights on that horse. This Hot Schnitzel is a high class galloper. Gerald Ryan would have him peaking for Saturday's race. Last time in, he beat Mano Anelli in Moment of Change in 108.
That's a good horse,
that'll win this race.
Absolutely.
So he's just on the bid for me.
On the bid, I'm actually going to Moonee Valley Friday night for my on the bid special this week. Race 5, number 1, Flash of Doubt. It's in the 955 metre sprint. When I looked at this race, I actually thought this horse would come up favourite at $2 to $2.50. He's actually come up $4.20 fixed odds on this race. I just think he's such good value, and I actually label him my best bet of the weekend. He's, his mare is coming down in weight. She's dropping down a huge amount in class. She's got the claim for the apprentice from 60 down to 58. She only gives them about, I think, 3 kilos to the lowest weighted runner in this race. Class has dropped down, had some 2 huge run in city class races through the Spring Carnival. I just think this is the right race. I reckon it's a soft kill for her. So she's my on the bid special for the weekend. Get off your weekend to a good start, build up your bank for Saturday. $4.20 fixed odds on the bid. Off the bid lay for the weekend, Lenny.
It was actually a horse that I was on last start at Flemington, which is unpretentious, what I was just talking about before. It's gone from a benchmark 72, so it's got obvious ability straight into a listed race, but it was on the minimum. And impressive winner, but it steps up now. It's carrying 59.
Up 5 kilos?
Up 5 kilos. There's a 5.5 kilo turnaround between it and Hot Schnitzel, and it's also giving 2 kilos in weight to Peter Moody's horse, Midsummer Music, that's won a Group 1. This horse has never won past 1200, and it's never won at Sandown, and at $2.80, massive risk for me.
Off the bid lay for me is also at Sandown, race 3, number 1 in the Sandown Cup, Einstein. He's come up $3.50 favourite for this race. He's run some nice races this preparation. He's been very consistent, but he just hasn't been winning. He actually hasn't won a race for his last 12 starts, and it's been over a year since he actually has won a race. He's also going up in weight, goes up to 58 kilos, never run the distance before. He's backing up after a good but tough run last week to probably the Melbourne Cup winner of next year, Pressance de Lune. $3.50 favourite, too short for mine, open race. He's got to give him more weight off the bit for mine, so Einstein, not for me. So we finished off the carnival last week on a good note. I think it's a good weekend's racing this week. Sandown, the MRC are putting on a good meeting this week.
Big fields and the even spread of horses. Good betting, and it should be a good day.
So it's always a fun day out at Sandown. It's probably the best meeting Sandown runs for the year. So everybody get out there, and we'll catch you next week. Good luck.
Cheers.
See ya.